Good morning, YouTube. Sorry, I got a runaway lizard here. Today is a special day. We're going to talk about leopard geckos. And I'm sitting in bed, and it's playtime. It's love time on my leopard gecko, and this is a leopard gecko. Very docile, very good creatures to hold. They come from the areas of India, Afghanistan, Iraq, that area, and it's the outback, not the desert, but the outback. Many people confuse leopard geckos with being a desert animal, and that's not the case. Sure, there might be a little bit of sand in their area, but they really come from the rocky, lightly shrubbed areas of India, Afghanistan, and Iraq. That area of the world. Lizzie is a very good lizard. I've had her for about a year now. She's very healthy, very lovable, and she just loves to walk around and check things out. You know, you can tell by looking at her, she's a little skittish at times, but she's fairly healthy and fairly calm. But she likes to walk around and check things out, so I gotta kind of scoop her on up and make sure she doesn't run. They also climb a little bit. They're not arboreal, they're terrestrial, and they're strictly insectivores. Insectivores means that these lizards eat nothing but insects. Her primary diet consists of medium to large crickets, 3 of them a day or every other day, and the occasional superworm, mealworm, or other insect that she might want to dwell on. Lizzie is, like I said, roughly about a year and a half old. They have a lifespan of 19 to 20 years, and sometimes longer if you take care of them properly. She's not fully grown yet. She still has some growing left to do. She is, in fact, a female. She doesn't have any bulges on her. She is a nocturnal animal, which means me having the light on them kind of bugs her a little bit. Let's see if I can turn the light off here, if you can see her any better. There you go. So Lizzie is nocturnal. She looks like she's albino, but a true albino has red eyes, and she does not. She has yellow golden eyes, so she is not albino. I don't know exact breed she is, as I got her from a pet store about a year ago, and I'm not too sure exactly what breed or species, morph, or whatever she is. There's several different morphs out there that you might want, color variants. Everything from a tangerine to a snow to a leopard to a tramper. And all different kind of places you can get them. They range in price from $30 for a little Lizzie here to about $400 or $500 for some of the more expensive geckos that are out on the market. What else? They do not require UV lighting, but they do require calcium and other vitamins in their food, because they do not get UV, because they are nocturnal. Their temperatures on the hot side, which is where I have my moist hide, is supposed to be anywhere between 80 and 90 degrees, while the temperature on the cool side should be anywhere between 70 and 80 degrees. A little higher is okay. You don't want to bake them or toast them. Since they are nocturnal, they don't require a heat lamp per se, but they require an under-tank heater. So Lizzie gets her under-tank heater right underneath her moist hide and her tank. Most people say you should put undertake heating pads On the side of the tank. Well, that is incorrect. Leopard geckos like to pretty much lay on the heat and gather the moisture the heat that way. Substrate. No way, under any circumstances, should you use calcium sand or any other sand for that matter for leopard geckos or any other lizards that you might have. Calcium sand is very bad. Sand is very bad. What happens is the sand will impact the leopard gecko and they will burst open and die. Impaction is a very big deal. They cannot digest their food, they shrivel up and they bloat up and they die. I have her in a cage. There we go, going down again. In a cage with excavating clay. Excavating clay is an excellent substrate. It goes on soft and molds like sand would, and then it hardens really rock hard. She cannot burrow. She cannot eat any of it. I spot clean the crumbs if there are any with a little vacuum. And the poop is really easy to clean off. You've got to change it about once every 6 months to 8 months if you feel like it. If it starts to stink, it can probably last longer than that. I do not feed her in the same cage as the excavating clay. I have a small container I put her in, and I put the insects or the animals that I want her to eat in there, and she goes at it. She ate yesterday, so she's nice and comfortable. You should feed baby leopard geckos every day. And you should feed leopard geckos every day as babies, juveniles every other day, and then adults like Lizzie, which is almost fully grown, should be fed every 3 days. I let her eat up until she's full and she stops eating, and then I put her back in her cage for a few days, pull her back out, and do the same again. Leopard geckos are really neat animals, guys. They're really, really, really lovable. Mine is still being trained. I didn't take her out much as a baby, so I'm training her up now, and she's handling myself pretty well. For the most part, I can pick her up no problem. Sometimes she gets a little iffy like that, and I just gotta work my way around. I'm gonna use the camera as a hold here, and I just pick her up, and she's good to go. But always be calm and gentle when you lift them up. Never lift a leopard gecko up by its tail. If you lift a leopard gecko up by its tail, it could possibly lose its tail. Now the tail will regenerate. It is a regenerating tail. She's one of the few geckos that actually has a regenerating tail. But that's the only part of her body that regenerates. She does not regenerate her legs or her toes or any other things. Some people might find this a little disturbing because one day they'll pick them up and they'll grab the wrong part of her and her tail will just pop right off like it's no big deal. That is, in fact, a mechanism that they use to keep themselves from being eaten by prey. They will run and hide, stick their tail out, let their tail come off, their tail will still move, and the prey will pick up that tail. That is normal with leopard geckos. They do that. Unlike crested geckos or other day geckos or tokay geckos or other kind of geckos, they will grow their tail back. It won't be this pretty little shape like hers is. It'll be a little fat nub. It won't be the same. And during that time, you're going to have to feed your leopard gecko even more because it's not going to be able to hold its nutrition. The leopard gecko's tail, its main purpose is to hold food. It holds its nutritional inside the tail. So when its tail comes off, what happens is it no longer has a supply of spare nutrition. Leopard geckos do this because in the wild, they do not have the ability to find food everywhere. So they do what they can with what they have, and they harvest it in the tail there. Now that's the basics on leopard geckos. I'm going to let you guys look at her a little more, see what she looks like. She's a beautiful little girl. I am eventually going to get another one for her, another one. But my next pet, I think, that I'm getting back into reptiles again, is going to be a chameleon. I think either that or Uromastyx, but I'm thinking a chameleon will take up less space in an apartment. But that is a leopard gecko. She's active, you know, like I said. Perfect little girl here. And she's a good girl. She's a little freaking out. She's not used to being on camera, and she's not used to being around here. But with that being said, this is Cowboy Dan herping, and this is the leopard gecko. I'll be coming back in a couple days with a full description of her tank, including how I put it together, and a little more nutrition, or a little more spots for it, and what you got to go on to do it. So until next time, see you later. Keep the herping alive.